This is the game we're going to make today. It's called Agario, and this is the original Agario game. And if you haven't played it before, let me just show you how it works. So you start off as this little blob here, and what you have to do is move around the map and gobble up all the blobs that are smaller than you. All the blobs. Try and get as many as you can. Can you see as you grab and gobble up these smaller blobs, you grow bigger. But what you've to be aware of is the other bigger blobs can actually eat you. And the first thing we need to do is to choose our background, the backdrop. So I'm going to go to Safari. I'm going to type in graph paper, images, and I'm going to choose some graph paper that's quite a big file size. I'll choose this one here. So copy, save image as, save to my desktop, call it graph paper, graph paper, yes, and then go back to my Scratch program, and I don't want Scratch the cat, so I'll delete him, but I do want to upload that graph paper that I've just saved. There we go. So can you see it here? There's our graph paper now, ready to go. What I want to do next is go up to costumes. We've got a funny way of doing this to make sure that our background is really massive, and I'll show you how that's done. Go down to choose a new costume and click on the paint, but I'm not going to put anything on this one. I'm just going to move that one up to the top. So my first costume, costume 1, is just a plain background, just a plain sprite, and my costume 2 is the graph paper. Now even though it's a sprite, it's going to be used as the background. Alright, happy with that. So let's go and set up the code for this. The first thing I need to do is say when the green flag is clicked. So go to events, bring a green flag across, and then go to looks, and this is where we're going to do this weird and wacky thing that changes those costumes. So the first thing we want to do is switch to costume 1 and then put it right in the center of our screen, and to do that we go to these XY coordinates need to be 0, 0. Can you see why? The 0, 0 points, x0, y0, puts things right in the very center of the screen. When we've done that, go back to looks, and this time we're going to set the size to a massive number. Let's say we're at 100% at the moment. Let's try 600%. We can actually change that later if we need to. And then once we've done that, we're going to switch to the costume that we really want, which is the graph paper. Here we go. There's the graph paper. Let's have a look at that. Okay, that's pretty good. So that's made that graph paper that we saved from Google is massive. Okay, the next thing we need is another sprite. And for this one, we're going to paint a circle. So I think I'll convert to bitmap so that I've got my circle already filled in. And the colour I'm going to choose, I think I'll choose a nice bright blue. There we go. And I'm going to draw a circle. Can you see where these crosshairs are? Well, my circle needs to be on those crosshairs. There we go. Alright, if I hold down shift I can make it a perfect circle. I actually didn't do that, but I'm pretty happy with that circle. Let's code that one now. In fact, no, I'm going to code the graph paper. We're actually going to get the graph paper to move, which will look as though my little Agario predator here is moving around the screen. So I'll move that over to the side, and I'm going to say when the green flag is clicked, this is actually just moving the graph paper, not the little blue dot. When the green flag is clicked, then forever move that graph paper. So move, that's a motion block, and what we're going to do, we're going to change, you remember the X and the Y axis, start with the X, so we're going to change X Change x by 10. Well, let's have a look. If we do that, that's actually pretty fast. We want to move it a lot slower than that. I'll pause. We probably want to move it 0.01. But what I need to pop in there first is a change. Oh, I've already done that one. What I need is the sensor. Here we go. And the one I want is mouse X. Here we are. I'm not going to put it straight in though, because what I want is an operator. Because I'm going to change that 0.01 into that position. And the mouse X just drops in there. Alright, let's see what we've got. When the green flag is clicked, forever change X by, wherever my cursor is, mouse X, multiplied by 0.01. Let's try it. And it should get us moving. There we go, from side to side. Okay, but what about the y-axis? How do we go up and down? Well, I need the code like this, but instead of change X and mouse X, I actually need it to be change Y. There we go, change Y and mouse Y. That was in the sensing, mouse Y. But first of all, we need that green operator, the multiplication one, this one here. So mouse Y goes in that side, and then 0.01, and I drop that in there. So now it should move in all directions. Ah, but can you see it's actually going in the opposite direction to my mouse, and I want it to follow the mouse. So let's go back to the code and have a look at this. We want it to go in the opposite direction. So change X by, well, mouse X by 0.01. To make that the opposite, I need to put it as negative or minus 0.01. And I need to do the same with this one, minus or negative 0.01. Let's give that a try. Is it following my cursor? Yes. Following the cursor around the screen in X and Y direction. Perfect. Okay, have a go at doing that, and I'll see you in the next part of the video. Welcome back. So have you noticed what happens? Let me show you something here. When I press the green flag, if the cursor is very close, do you see he goes pretty slow, but as I move the cursor away, he goes much faster based on the distance away from the cursor. Okay, what I want you to do now is we need to make some prey for our predator, the Agario. We need to make him some food. So let's come down here, paintbrush. We need to draw another sprite. So go on to bitmap. I'll use this one again, a filled one. And what colour shall we choose? Red, my favourite colour. Okay, so let's draw. In fact, I'll zoom in again and just draw another circle, making sure that I've got him in the middle of those crosshairs. Back to code, and now we need to set up some code for this sprite. At the moment it's right on top of my other one, but that's okay. We'll decide what he's going to do. We want to start on the green flag again, as usual, when the green flag is clicked, and a forever, because forever we want him to create a clone of himself, because we don't want just one, we want several of the prey. So let's go and find a create clone of myself. Where's it gone? Create clone of myself. And when I start as a clone, because actually creating a clone doesn't actually get him to do anything, so when I start as a clone, I need to move. And where he needs to go is anywhere in a random position. So we want to go to a random position. Do you remember? It's the operators. So we need to pick a random number, And do you remember what those numbers are on the x-axis? The furthest left you can go is minus 240 or negative 240, and the furthest right you can go is 240. And for the y-axis, again, we'll choose another random number. These are different though. It's actually based on the size of the stage, and it's actually longer than the height. So 240 by 240 is the length, but the height is minus or negative 180 to 180. Okay, so when I start as a clone, I'll appear randomly on the screen, and I'll create a clone of myself forever. But hang on a minute, if I leave it just like that, forever creating clones of myself, they're going to pop up all over the place. We're going to get so many we won't be able to play the game. What we need is a wait block in there. So I'll go to Control, just pick a wait block, and you can decide how long you want to wait. Maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds. I'm going to choose 3 seconds to wait before the clone appears. And then when I start as a clone, this is what I'm going to do. So let's see how that works. 3 seconds and another one appears. Wait for 3 seconds, there we go, and another one appears. Alright, so that's all looking good so far. What do we need to do next? So when I start as a clone, go to a random position, just appear in a random position, but at the moment he's not actually moving, he's just stuck on top of here, and he's just following the same as the main blob, the main blue blob. So we need him to have his motion set up. So again, let's go and get a forever, and forever motion, change x by, and we'll go and get the operators, and this time we need that multiplication one. Okay, so we need to move mouse X, and we need a mouse Y because we need this exactly the same. So let's go and get that change Y as well. Pop that one in there with an operator, and that one here. Okay, and mouse Y. And then in there, in fact, do you know what I'm thinking? Well, I'm actually copying all of this. Let me show you an easier way. I'm going to get rid of that one for a second because I know where that code is. Over here, can you see what we've got there? That's exactly the same code that we need for our little sprite over here. What I'm going to do, instead of duplicating it, which I could, a right click or control click and duplicate it, what I'm going to do instead is a little trick. Just watch this. If I bring that code and drop it in there, it's actually inside there, but I've also not lost it here. I can pop that back on there, and if I go to sprite 2, looky here, there it is. I can just pop it on. That's a really useful trick. If you're having to repeat the same code for multiple sprites, it's an easy way, and you can duplicate it, that's fine, but that's an easy way, just drop it straight on. Now, let's see how this is working. Okay, 3 seconds, there we are, one sprite's appeared, and another sprite appeared, the prey, the food. Okay, hey, that's good. But what about this one that's on top of, I'll move him off, on top of Agario? He isn't really, he's just staying with Agario. I'll stop that for 1 second. What I need to do with that one is go to looks, and I'm going to hide him. So right at the beginning he needs to hide, and then only the clones show. Let's try it now. There, he's disappeared. 3 seconds. There we go. Another 3 seconds. Yes. Alright. This is now looking a lot better. Alright, let's stop that. What we need to do now is, if our predator, the Agario, touches one of those other sprites, the prey, the red ones, what is it going to do? It needs to delete it. So let's go to our control and say if he touches, so I'll pop it in the forever loop, if he touches, so touches is sensing, if he touches the Agario, so let's bring down this one. At the moment it's saying mouse pointer, but let's change that to sprite 1. Don't like that. Let's change the name here. So go back and change sprite 1 and let's call him Agario. What should we call sprite 2? The food? The prey? Maybe the prey. He's the food. Alright, so when the prey, the food, touches Agario, then we are going to delete him. So delete this clone. So there we go. In control, delete this clone. Let's try it now. Wait for 3 seconds. There he is. Let's come over and gobble him up. Gulp, gulp. Oh, gobble him up. Actually, I'm gobbling them up quicker than they're appearing. I'm having to wait, aren't I? So maybe 3 seconds is too long. Actually, I might change that. 2.5 seconds. Let's see what happens now. So now after 2.5 seconds, there we go, we get another prey. I've got to go a bit faster now to make sure I get them all. Alright, so if you've got this far, that's what I want you to do next. I just bashed my microphone. I hope it didn't deafen you. You have a go at doing that, pause the video, and I'll show you what to do next. Welcome back. So this is looking pretty good. I think we're almost there. Let's press the green flag. Okay, we have to wait 2.5 seconds, and here comes our first prey. And as we go to it, okay, gobble him up. But they're all red. How can we change that? Let's pause the video. At the moment we have a red prey, but what we can do is change the looks, and we can change the colour, this one here, and change the colour effect by 25. Right, so let's try that. So wait 2.5 seconds. Oh, there's a yellow one and a green one. So it's changing the colour for every sprite. Oh, the same colour as I am. Alright, and a dark blue. But we're staying the same size. We're gobbling up all the prey, but he's staying the same size. What would be good is if he grows a little bit. So each time he eats something, he gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So let's go down to Agario, and at the moment we don't have any code on him. So what we need to do is say for Agario, when the green flag is clicked, and we're going to set his size so that every time we start the game he's going to be a certain size. We could have 100%, but let's make him a little bit smaller to start the game. So we're going to set the size to, let's say 50%. You can try it out with your game, see how it goes. When the green flag's clicked, set the size to 50%, make him small, and then forever, if he's touching is the sensing, if he's touching, what are our options here? Not the mouse pointer. If he's touching the prey, we're going to change the size, change size by, let's leave it at 10. Let's see how that looks, because we can always adapt this later. So set the size to 50% to start the game, then forever. If he touches one of the prey, he changes size by 10, plus 10. What would happen if it was minus 10? Yeah, he would shrink, he'd get smaller. Let's try this game. So wait for 2.5 seconds. Oh, there's a yellow one. Is he going to get bigger? Oh, not getting bigger yet. And he's eaten a few. Oops, oh, I missed that one. He ate that one. But he's not getting bigger, is he? Let's have a look at our code again. Set size to 50% forever. If he's touching the prey, the food, he's going to change by 10. And he didn't. I think I know the reason. Let's go back to the prey. Have you seen what's happening here? If the prey is touching Agario, immediately delete this clone. I think we need to wait a very short amount of time, maybe 0.1 of a second should do it, but just have a very small wait before he deletes. Let's see if that's fixed our problem. Wait 2.5 seconds. Oh, I hope it grows. Ah, he did. Get bigger, bigger, bigger. 2.5 seconds and we get another one. This is looking good. Okay. Do you know, I think I might want to have a few more clones on the screen. I'm wondering if 2.5 seconds maybe isn't long enough. Maybe it's too long actually. Alright. Okay, so now you've got your code. This is the code for the prey. You have your code for Agario. Actually very simple. Agario doesn't do very much. All he does is change his size if he eats something. And then the code for the backdrop, because the backdrop, as you remember, is moving. So have a look, have a go with this game and see how you can adapt it to make it even more fun for you to play. See what you can do with that. Okay, good luck. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.